chapter of Bleach, the very foundations of Soul Society, Hueco Mundo, and Earth are crumbling, and it looks like the universe is going to be destroyed thanks to the Quincy leader and him taking over Ichigo's body and having him cut the Soul King in half. Yes, the Soul King, who's got a lot of soul, but not exactly. The dude never really says a word. He's just a dude trapped in a crystal who doesn't really do anything but stand around, and frankly, I think that's kind of disappointing. However, there are some interesting things about this chapter, aside from the fact that it was incredibly simple. It was basically just seeing everything get destroyed by the big cataclysm which is getting ready to go down. But I did like the fact that Ichigo is still trying to attack the Quincy leader despite the fact that he can't let go of his sword, and all of the Quincy leader's power is actually going to Ichigo at this moment. He's basically sort of controlling him like a puppet. And what is interesting, and this is something that pretty much everybody brought up because the Soul King was seemingly cut in half, what if Inoue could heal him? Well, she actually tries to do that this week, but she ends up getting attacked herself. So it's not going to be that easy. It's kind of like Hachi from the Vizard group. He's a really great healer, but unless he actually has time to do the healing, it's going to be very difficult. But the most interesting thing I think about this chapter is really what came at the very end, when Urahara is completely freaked out that everything is being destroyed. He didn't even realize that the Soul King was going to be defeated this easily, along with Zero Division and, of course, Ichigo, who really couldn't stop him. And it all ends with this final panel with Ukitake right at the very end, and he has this weird black energy which is getting ready to go over his body, and this could actually be his Kamekake technique, the one that he's been talking about for the last couple of chapters, and they've been building up this entire time. All I know is this week's chapter was simple, and honestly wasn't quite what I was looking for. I'm really hoping they'll get back into the action soon, and maybe give us some better explanation, especially what's really going on with the Soul King, who is a character who, frankly, at this point in the series, is kind of disappointing me, and that's only because he hasn't really done anything aside from just randomly standing around and getting cut in half. Like, the dude has said nothing, and he's solely responsible for the very fabric of the universe. So that's a pretty important element of the series for them to just skim over, and I'm really hoping they'll get to that eventually. I mean, there's a lot of explanation, but I still want to see a lot of battles from this arc as well. So, what's the rundown? On this week's chapter of Bleach, it was really simple. I really just don't have that much to say about it. Really, the most interesting thing for me is Ukitake at the very end of the chapter getting ready to do something. I don't know. It's not clear. It's literally just his face. There's some weird black energy getting ready to go over his face, and that's the end of the chapter right there. I do think it is kind of interesting, though, that all of the Quincy Power's power is actually being fed into Ichigo's sword while he's holding it, and I really did love when he actually decided to attack him. That was a really smart move. They really need to start going on the offensive against this guy, and they need to figure out what they're going to do about the whole Soul King. I mean, since he's been defeated, how can they actually fix this situation, aside from basically just healing the Soul King? Could they find, like, a possible replacement? Is that what Ukitake is going to try and do, is sort of be like a temporary Soul King and sort of take his place? Or is this why Ichigo is never going to return at all? It was hinted that Ichigo would not return, and this could be that because he is going to become the new Soul King and actually live within his palace and his dimension. All I know is, I just want to see some damn fighting. Bust out the swords, bust out the super powerful moves, and let's see some dudes just wailing on each other. This is the final arc of the series. We need some badass action, and we don't really need any more of these slow-moving chapters, which really just didn't do much for me. However, I did like the chapter. It did confirm that Inoue could possibly heal the Soul King, and I'm really interested to see what Ukitake is going to do. Despite that, this was a very short and simple chapter, and I'm going to give this week a 3 out of 5. And I think I'm being very generous, but I'm still really interested to see what's going on with Ukitake. That's the thing that's really got my attention in this week's chapter, and I liked a little bit of action with just Ichigo fighting the Quincy leader. I think that's pretty awesome. So, if you've been following the Bleach manga series, definitely check out this week's chapter. It does have some interesting parts, but don't expect to be blown away. You'll probably read the chapter in probably a minute straight. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's chapter of Bleach. What do you think is going to happen to the very fabric of the universe? Do you think everyone's going to be affected by this? Do you think they're going to be able to stop it? What is Ukitake's plan at the very end of this chapter? Please tell me in the comment section below. If you guys have not subscribed to our channel, you can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here, and you can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. And make sure to check out the 3rd episode of our brand new video podcast show, The Powerful Nerdcast. There will be a link for that at the very end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Super Kami Guru 9000 out.